Hello and welcome to The Nation ASEAN Plus. I'm ELANE NOOR, coming to you from Wisma Bernama in Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia officially kicked off its ASEAN chairmanship with the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat, which took place from January 18 to 19 in Langkawi, Kedah. This retreat was the first of many high-level meetings under Malaysia's leadership this year, bringing together senior officials and foreign ministers from ASEAN member states. Their gathering was to discuss key regional and global issues. The timing of this retreat is especially important as it coincides with major global developments like Donald Trump starting his second term as US President. How these global shifts will impact ASEAN's priorities is something we'll explore today. To help us analyze the outcomes and implications of this important meeting, we will be later joined by phone by Dr. A.T. KUMARARAJAH, a socio-economic and political commentator. This will be followed by a chat with AZMI HASSAN, a fellow at the National Council of Professors. Now, before we dive into today's discussion, let's start with some news updates. Malaysian Foreign Minister Muhammad Hassan emphasised ASEAN's centrality ahead of potential challenges as Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship kicked off in the Foreign Ministers Retreat in Langkawi recently. Malaysia takes its turn as rotating chair of the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations as the bloc contends with Beijing's assertiveness in the South China Sea and the faltering ASEAN peace process for Myanmar, where the ruling military plans to hold an election this year.
This retreat is an opportunity to visualize not just the year that lies ahead, but also how we will set the tone for the new era in a world full of uncertainty. ASEAN encompasses a region that is one of the most diverse in the world. Yet, defying all expectation of outsiders, we are also among the most peaceful. We do not wage war on one another. We do not undermine each other's sovereignty. We do so much more than simply coexist. We collaborate. This is our way, and it is precisely the ASEAN way that will carry us through the turbulence of the coming years. What we need to anticipate are the potential challenges to ASEAN centrality. As the global order shifts, numerous multilateral pacts have and may continue to emerge that may disrupt this region's security landscape. We must ensure that ASEAN remains our central go-to platform for solution seeking.
According to a top official, Malaysia is committed to addressing regional issues, but expectations on Myanmar and the advancing of talks on an ASEAN-China Code of Conduct for the South China Sea should be measured. Meanwhile, Southeast Asian nations told Myanmar's military government its plan to hold an election amid an escalating civil war should not be its priority, urging the junta to start dialogue and end hostilities immediately. Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan said the ASEAN called on the warring sides in member nation Myanmar to stop the fighting and told the junta's representative to allow unhindered humanitarian access.
We also want to know what they have in mind. One thing that we know, that want to have election, but we told them election is not a priority at the moment. The priority now is to cease fire and everybody have to stand down. See, that is important. And access to all segments on the humanitarian aid in Myanmar. Very simple. And I don't think that is a very difficult task for them to fulfill.
On this front, how does Malaysia expect it to change?
In the same press conference, Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan also stressed that the South China Sea must remain peaceful and stable, and here's what he had to say.
Engagement with external partners. On South China Sea, we touched base on the retreat welcome, the progress of the negotiations of the Code of Conduct in South China Sea, and highlighted the need to continue the momentum to expedite the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea negotiations towards an early conclusion and an effective and substantive COC in accordance with UNCLOS 1982. We stress that South China Sea must remain peaceful and stable.
In the meantime, Malaysia has placed its Madani principles at the heart of its ASEAN Chairmanship for 2025 with a focus on inclusivity and sustainability as the region navigates a volatile global landscape. Malaysian Foreign Minister Muhammad Hassan said Malaysia's leadership will aim to set a new standard for global governance, guided by the enduring values of inclusivity, diversity, and future-oriented planning. Mohamad said through Madani principles, Malaysia will adopt an inclusive approach at every level, emphasizing the importance of supporting micro, small and medium enterprises and ensuring that technology plays a key role in their development. He reaffirmed Malaysia's commitment to promoting inclusive development, providing equitable opportunities for all segments of society and ensuring that no one is left behind. Still with Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan, the Malaysia's Foreign Minister held 3 bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the ASEAN Foreign Ministers AMM retreat with his counterparts from Vietnam, Singapore and Indonesia to foster deeper cooperation and strengthen bilateral relations. At the Langkawi International Convention Centre, Muhammad met with Vietnam's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Bui Thanh Son. In a statement, the Foreign Ministry noted that both ministers underscored the importance of close collaboration in achieving the ASEAN Community Vision 2045. Bui Thanh Son conveyed strong confidence in Malaysia's leadership of ASEAN in 2025, pledging full support for the country's chairmanship, theme and priorities. In a separate meeting, Muhammad met with his Indonesian counterpart, Sugiono. Both ministers reiterated their commitment to strengthening bilateral relations, citing the close personal ties between the leaders of both countries and agreed on the need to address any bilateral issues harmoniously in order to foster deeper cooperation and ensure continued progress in their partnership. Muhammad also met with Singapore's Foreign Minister, Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan, to discuss the positive momentum from the retreat, looking forward to continuing this throughout the remainder of the ASEAN calendar this year. And I'm off to a commercial break. When I come back, I'll be speaking with Datuk Dr. A.T. KUMARARAJAH, a socio-economic and political commentator, about what the ASEAN Foreign Ministers retreat in Langkawi means for ASEAN. Don't go anywhere. This is The Nation ASEAN Plus. Welcome back. You're watching The Nation ASEAN Plus. Now, the recently concluded ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat AMM Langkawi marked the beginning of Malaysia's chairmanship of ASEAN for 2025. The retreat focused on regional unity, resilience and sustainability, with significant discussions on Timor-Leste's full membership and advancing ASEAN priorities. Langkawi also served as a platform to showcase Malaysia's excellence in hosting high-profile international events. Joining me now via phone to share his insights on the outcomes and implications of this important meeting is Datuk Dr. A.T. KUMARARAJAH, a socio-economic and political commentator. He's also the Vice President of the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Malaysia, NCCIM. A.T., thanks for joining us. I'd like to begin with this. What is your perspective on Malaysia's role as the ASEAN Chair for 2025, especially after hosting the AMM in Langkawi?
Very good. I think it's a very good start, Elaine, because Malaysia must congratulate Dr. Sri Muhammad Hassan to being the opening batsman for many of the series of ASEAN ministerial meetings, starting with the foreign ministers meeting that took place in Langkawi just this weekend. And I think they have very clearly set forth as far as for this ASEAN chairmanship year held by Malaysia, but also forefronted many of those things that they want to achieve, at least in this year, or to start the prelude to what 2025 ASEAN community. So that 15-year vision is going to start here. And it's also very unique that Malaysia is again hosting back or chairing ASEAN exactly 10 years after the ASEAN Economic Community started, the AEC. So it's a very pivotal moment, and it's a very good start as far as the chairmanship of Malaysia of ASEAN goes.
Dato', now how do you see ASEAN's commitment to Timor-Leste's full membership influencing the region's dynamics moving forward?
Very good, because again, Timor-Leste, right? So to me, I think it's a natural fit. It connects. It's our last mile connection between, say, ASEAN and also the Australian continent and next to the Indonesian archipelago. So in a way, it's a very small country. I did read up about Timor-Leste when they made that application. It's only 1.5 million people. The economy is just over $2 billion US dollars. But it's a very green field in that sense. Now, once included into ASEAN, they'll be able to have a huge amount of investments coming their way. They're strategically positioned in the trade routes between ASEAN and also Australia. So it's a very good start, and I think it's a natural fit. One of the very few countries that possibly will now make ASEAN now 11 membership strong nation. We're already the fifth largest bloc in the world in terms of economy, and this will be a natural fit.
And we're looking forward to welcoming this new member state. Now, Dato', what key initiatives should Malaysia prioritize to strengthen regional cooperation during its ASEAN leadership?
So, again, I mentioned just now, right? So we have positioned inclusivity and sustainability as our theme for this ASEAN chairmanship. And I think I did read through the press release that Dr. Sri Mohammed Hassan put out just at the end of the ASEAN minister meeting. There are like 4 pointers. And one of the few unique things I picked up in terms of what's going to happen in the ASEAN community vision post 2025, looking forward to 2045, and also things like the ASEAN power grid. And I think many of the things that Malaysia has already set forth to do, especially under Dr. Sri Anwar Ibrahim, in terms of what he has set forth in the Malaysian Madani vision or the Madani economic narrative itself, fits very nicely into this 1 year. So it is the year where we finish the 12th Malaysia Plan, we start the 13th Malaysia Plan story, and we are at the chairmanship of Malaysia. To a large extent, I think it's one of the best positioning of Malaysia in terms of where they are, our international reputation, and the way PMX is literally crisscrossing. I think now is in Europe, going to attend the World Economic Forum. I think it's a very good position, Eileen, in terms of what we are trying to do. We have also put together one of the things is the ASEAN Gulf China Cooperation, and that's going to be one of the other stakeholder meetings that we are going to have during our ASEAN year, and also putting forward things like the digital economy. I think that YB Govind Singh actually put out and said, look, we even the natural evolution would have put our ASEAN digital economy at 1 trillion with the enhanced ASEAN Digital Economy Facilitation Agreement, which was, again, one of the main things discussed at the foreign ministers meeting, would put that figure double at 2 trillion ringgit. So it's a very good start. And I think if with this kind of speed, we are looking at the ASEAN Future Forum, which is going to happen at the end of February in Hanoi, and leading up to the 46th ASEAN Summit. Very good start for Malaysia.
Now, Dato', as we wrap this up, my last question to you is, how significant was Langkawi's role in showcasing Malaysia's capabilities as a host for high-level international meetings? And what impact could this have on the country's global image, Dato'?
Okay, because again, I think Malaysia is not a stranger to organizing many of these international events. And PMX is basically our biggest, our poster boy as far as ASEAN goes, both in the regional and also the international community. And Malaysia has set forth to bring about this sustainability and inclusivity. And what more, having it in Langkawi, because Langkawi is one of the UNESCO recognized geoscience parks of the world. So in that way, we have uniquely positioned not only Langkawi, but the kickstart of the ASEAN chairmanship in Langkawi is a very nice way of starting off this year. And one thing, the only challenge would be whether we should be able to put out at least main 3 items that we want to achieve for this year. And I think those were the things that we will have very good clarity over the next couple of months before we go full steam ahead with this, our chairmanship. Because we are not only shown ownership, I think this idea of also showing stewardship in ASEAN, that's very, very important.
I love that comment, Dato', for stewardship and the leadership for the ASEAN 2025. Thank you, AT. That was Dr. AT KUMARARAJAH, socio-economic and political commentator. Next, as the world watches Donald Trump begin his second term as US President, How will these developments impact ASEAN? Stay with us as AZMI Hassan, fellow at National Council of Professors, shares his insights after the break. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The just concluded ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat AMM in Langkawi set the tone for Malaysia's chairmanship of ASEAN in 2025. Key outcomes included a strong commitment to regional unity, advancing Timor-Leste's full membership, and addressing pressing geopolitical and economic challenges. Now, as Donald Trump begins his second term as President of the United States, we explore how these developments intersect and what they mean for ASEAN's future. Joining us via phone is AZMI Hassan, fellow at National Council of Professors, to share his insights. AZMI, with President Trump beginning his second term, how do you anticipate his administration will engage with ASEAN, particularly given his America First approach in the past?
Well, to be honest, I don't think so. Mr. Trump radar under ASEAN is specifically under Mr. Trump's radar. And that's very good news. And a few days ago, when the hearing of the Secretary for Defense, Peter Heck, said he has no idea what ASEAN is. And I'm hopefully that Mr. Trump don't see ASEAN as the enemy. As I said before, it's not on radar front, it's radar. So I guess we have to prepare for it, for whatever the consequences. But for the time being, ASEAN is out of the limelight as far as Trump is concerned.
AZMI, considering Trump's prior focus on bilateral deals, what could this mean for ASEAN's trade and economic priorities moving forward?
Yeah, basically, Trump, when you mentioned America First, it is very true. I think for the first hour of his inauguration, he signed a slew of executive orders. And I guess tariffs, he mentioned it a lot of times, tariffs sound so nice to him. And he used tariffs as a weapon to get what America wants, to get what he wants. So I guess ASEAN and also Malaysia included have to face the tariff in this case. I think that's a big issue here. We have the concern about tariff, even though he specifically did not say specifically ASEAN, but he said over about 10 to 15% of all other countries besides China, Mexico, and Canada.
Now, AZMI, in light of that, what steps should ASEAN take to navigate potential shifts in the U.S. foreign policy under Trump, especially in the context of China-U.S. competition?
Yeah, I think it is lucky. I would say that it is lucky that the chairman of ASEAN is Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I think Kuala Lumpur, during the first term of President Trump, president, I think we navigated very, very good. We maneuver very good because we know that Trump likes to take credit, and the best we can do is that not to be in the bad book of Trump. I think that's the way to do it. I think it has been shown that I think Prime Minister of Canada, I think know this very well, Justin Trudeau. So maneuvering Trump is the main thing. But I have the confidence that we, as the KL chairman and other 9 ASEAN countries, can face Trump, can maneuver Trump to be more exact.
AZMI, turning to the just concluded AMM in Langkawi, what were the most significant achievements and how do they position ASEAN for the year ahead?
Yeah, I think I'm quite happy that when Tok Mat chaired the AMM meeting, but the most that I'm happy that it will be not Langkawi alone be the site of the meeting. I think for Malaysia, as I see it, Tok Mat said we'll go around our country, not so much for the economic benefit for the local population, but to expand, to make people of Malaysia more understandable what is ASEAN and how important is ASEAN chairman. So when Tok Mat said that beside Langkawi, there will be hundreds more localities of meetings, that I think that is the very most significant takeaway. To be honest, I think what transpired in Langkawi.
Now, AZMI, that sounds like an inclusive step in line with the ASEAN theme. Now, how does ASEAN's commitment to Timor-Leste's full membership reflect the bloc's priorities and values, and what challenges remain in this process?
Yeah, when Datuk Seri Anwar said code of conduct for South China Sea should be concluded as fast as possible, and this is a very difficult task. And for me, Timor-Leste to be a full member, I'm quite confident that during Malaysia Championship, Timor-Leste will be accepted as the 11th member, maybe a full member, as I see it, into our ASEAN organization. So I'm quite confident that because Timor-Leste and also Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia is quite close in this particular case. So Malaysia together with Singapore, Indonesia, I think supporting a full membership of Timor-Leste for this particular 2025.
Now, Prof, in my last question before we let you go, in a minute, perhaps you can tell us, we want your thoughts on President Donald Trump having announced that the US, by far the WHO's biggest financial backer, will exit the WHO. He stated that the Global Health Agency mishandled the COVID-19 pandemic and other international health crises. Your comments, AZMI.
Right now, I did not hear the question, but I'm going to answer. I hear about Trump just now. Yes, I think Trump will be very, I would say, headwind to us, Malaysia, and also ASEAN. But as I said before, we have gone through 2017 until 2021 during his first term of presidential. I think we can do it together. Kuala Lumpur as a chairman, plus other 9 ASEAN countries. I think we can work together. As Anwar said, economy is the most important thing.
Thank you so much for your perspective, AZMI. We look forward to having you in the studio soon. And that was AZMI Hassan, Fellow at National Council of Professors. And that's all the time that we have on today's episode of The Nation ASEAN Plus. To keep yourself updated, log on to benam.com. This will also link you to our social media platforms as well. I'm ELANE, and we'll see you next time on The Nation for more in-depth discussions and conversations that matter. Bye for now.